We're back, people, and today we're bringing on film on the Miami Dolphins defense versus the Bills. Definitely a different story than the offense, which I thought played pretty well, but the defense struggled, especially in the first half. They came out in the second half, made some adjustments, and actually played pretty decent. And I think, a lot of people blame Josh Boyer for this game, and I don't think Boyer has been perfect at all this season. He's had his struggles, and I think in this game he had some struggles too, but he tried to call so many different things and nothing was working, and I think it really just comes down to the Bills' offense being way more talented than the Dolphins' defense. The Dolphins' defense, the linebackers really hurt them in this one, and then the injuries in the secondary made it very difficult to stop the Bills' offense. They would go zone, try to drop back, just get pressure, try to win with getting pressure. They got no pressure on Josh Allen the whole game, and then they tried to go man blitz, and then Josh Allen would just escape the pocket. He's too athletic for that. It just nothing was really working. People were open all day long. But in the second half, they made some adjustments and then some things started to work. But it just, at the end of the game, they still were able to pull off the win. One thing I noticed when the Dolphins play the Bills, they do this cover 3 where they show press, pre-snap, and then bail, where the guy plays outside leverage the corner. And you just watch Kohu versus Diggs here. He's playing his outside leverage. He's bailing. And they just come out and throw like the quick slant. They just glance this. It's pretty much just an adjustment. And they just threw this all day. They did this in the first game too. Once they recognize this, and they would go play action, and the linebackers just get sucked down. This is on these 3 players, because Kohu is a deep third player here. He has to keep his outside leverage, and it's pretty much impossible for him to make a play on a slant route. Like, most corners in this position are not going to be a play. These guys have to gain depth in the zone to take away this throwing lane, and this is where the linebackers hurt the Dolphins. They're just not good in zone coverage. They all are pretty. They've all been pretty good against the run this season. I think that's a big reason why the Dolphins have been very solid versus the run, especially with the D line. But everyone else, like Baker, can play some man-to-man versus some tight ends, some running backs. But when you drop Baker, Elandon Roberts into zone, and I think that's even Clayton Fedulum, they're just not natural, instinctive coverage players, and then it just opens up the middle of the field, and that's why a big reason why these guys were just running open the whole game. Even though the Dolphins defense struggled, they did come out and get a stop early on. They actually have Igbenogany here in, a cover 1 robber look on Diggs. They went to cover 1 a lot in the third down situations. They try to bring pressure. Josh Allen just is very good against pressure, either getting the ball out very quickly or just avoiding it and creating with his legs. For some reason, the Dolphins had Noah on Diggs here on third down, but he does a pretty good job staying in position, and they run a route short of the sticks anyways. But he kind of, how he undercuts it, forces this throw to go over the head of Diggs. So nice play there by Igbenogany. They had Keon Crossan on Diggs a lot in this game, and then would give him no help. That was one of my critiques, because Diggs got some free catches where he would just get one-on-ones with Keon Crossan, which I wasn't sure why that was the play call. Not either get X on him, or if you're going to put Crossan on him, then give him some help over the top. I think that's what I would have done. I would have doubled him with either Crossan or Kohu, and then had a safety over the top, and then have Xavier Howard on like Gabe Davis. I think that would have been the best strategy. But yeah, they made some. I'll show you once we get to the second half what they did differently and what started working in this game. This time, the Dolphins drop into a cover 2 invert, where this corner, Xavier Howard, becomes the deep half defender, and they have the safety come down into the flat. They tried to mix up looks. They tried to make things look weird for Josh Allen. They come out in the play action, and they just would run, these deep routes down the field, get the corner post from the outside guy, and then run the corner in behind it, basically running like a scissors concept. And they just gain a bunch of depth, and the linebackers, are not going to get there. They're not going to take away these throwing lanes. If there's pressure not being created instantly by the defensive line, like these guys are coming open for sure. Dolphins just don't have instinctive zone defenders. Even their corners are better man defender guys, all of them, like Kohu, Xavier Howard, Crossan. They're all way more experienced in man-to-man. Holland is probably like the only instinctive zone defender on the defense, honestly. Even Andrew Van Ginkel is more of an instinctive zone defender than most of the off-ball linebackers on this team. Just, they're running very good concepts. Boyer tried to mix it up, cover 2 invert this time instead of cover 3, but still just running in behind it. Good play call by the Bills offense. No pressure being created, and that's just a huge issue for this team. They get down to the red zone. Dolphins decide to go cover 0. They try to bring the pressure. They get Holland one-on-one with the tight end. Holland kind of messes up at the line of scrimmage with his punch, but he just still stays in pretty good positioning. He recovers pretty well. Allen just escapes to pocket. He sees that They're bringing pressure. The only person on him is right there. Roberts is like the spy. So he just escapes the pocket and gives an absolutely perfect throw to the tight end. You just can't beat a perfect throw like this. Like, he's in good position. He tries to play through the hands, and just sometimes a perfect throw, perfect catch can't be beat by a defense. I mean, everything is covered pretty well here for the most part. Singletary's open, but I mean, Allen is rolling to his right, so it's a tougher throw for him to throw it back to his left. Probably gives the safety a chance. But don't mind the play call going cover 0, just because they were not stopping this offense all day, and sometimes just trying to press at the line of scrimmage, throw off the timings just a little bit, and then hopefully that's where you can force them to make a mistake. You drop deep in zone, it just obviously wasn't working. They were just playing pitch and catch all over the field, and man-to-man is like, yeah, you're going to give up some big plays, but they were also giving up big plays in the zone, so I don't mind them just going there and trying to, cause some trouble. The Dolphins defense they got to be the worst 3rd and 17 team I've ever seen. Like last week with the Eckler screen, he just becomes wide open. They play soft. This time they play pretty soft again. The guys don't gain as much depth, but then they just allow Gabe Davis to just sit. They go cover 3 robber, and he just sits down right in between in a huge zone. He's just wide open. There's a few problems on this play. Like, the defensive front, they just got to create pressure in this situation. Chubb is getting double to the side. He's got the receiver chipping him, and then the tackle. Sealer gets a one-on-one matchup and actually does a pretty good job right there. But no one gets there fast enough. Even if they do get to Allen, which when they did get to Allen, he did a great job escaping in the pocket. Right here, this defender's got to gain some more depth. These guys got to be more near the sticks. I know they don't want the dump off to happen like last week to Eckler, but now once you see that it's clearly not a screen and there's no blockers out in front, and you definitely come down, you got to gain some more depth, take away this throwing lane, and then the cross-in has to understand once this guy gets deep enough into his zone, once you're in this situation, a guy enters your deep zone, you're basically just a man-to-man, so you got to squeeze this, make this a more difficult throw, and they just make it an easy pitch and catch on 3rd and 17, which will still be mind-blowing to me to this day. This touchdown right here kind of reminded me of the Devin Singletary touchdown in the first matchup, where the running back just runs wide open. Miscommunication, I guess, because I believe Duke Riley should be man-to-man here on this running back, and he just doesn't know that he's man-to-man because he goes up like he's going to blitz, and then, plays it like he's the spy. I think he thinks he's spying here, but the running back just free to the flat. Miscommunications, not understanding what the call is. The linebackers really, really hurt this team in coverage. Another 3rd down situation, and this play created right here by Josh Allen is why you didn't see the Dolphins just running man-to-man the entire game, because this is what the Bills offense can do, and the Dolphins defense just can't. Sometimes you can't just stop great plays, and Allen just escapes the pocket. They get some pretty quick pressure here, some good rush from the inside defenders by Phillips getting some pressure, forcing Allen to escape the pocket. I mean, at this point, things are covered up pretty well. Diggs gets some separation here because these two run into each other, but Allen's rolling to the right here. They have someone spying. They get closed, but once you get, if Allen's able to create this much time, the secondary is not going to be able to cover for that long, and McKenzie gets open here because of like a natural pick that gets created somehow on accident, so just unfortunate. Sometimes you play good defense and the quarterback, Josh Allen, top 3 in the league, is making, top plays like this. And I just don't think the defense has enough talent to stop that. Like, this is a good play call. Like, they get the pressure that they want. The coverage is good initially. And Josh Allen is just an amazing player. So, can't stop that. This is right before halftime, this drive right here. They score on the next play. They get Xavier Howard at the top of the screen here for holding, which actually I don't even mind holding in these situations. Better to hold than give up a touchdown because there's so little time left on the clock. You're still wasting time. As long as you don't get the PI where they get down to the 1. But, I mean, look at this holding call that they call an X. Like, if you watch my video, like the last offensive play, Trey Wright hooks Jalen Waddle very similarly, and they don't call it. They called these holdings, these pass interferences on the Dolphins defense all day long, even if they were not even that bad. Like, this one's not that bad. Like, he definitely holds him a bit when he's turning right here. Like, you get that. But this isn't even close to what the Bills defenders were doing on multiple plays that didn't get called. And, like, on this play, everyone else is covered up. This is pretty good coverage here. The ball wouldn't even have been caught anyways, but they get the flag, and then they end up scoring on a crazy play the next one. At this point, there's only like 7 seconds left, so they only have one chance to throw it into the end zone. This is actually this is a crazy play by Josh Allen, because this is not a smart play for how long he held onto the ball. That him going for this touchdown. If this falls incomplete, they don't even get a field goal because the ball, when caught, was at 0 seconds. Like, this is actually a pretty dumb play, but they make up for it. And there's just sometimes nothing you can do. Like, the secondary, like, Jerome Baker gives up this touchdown, but Josh Allen held this ball for longer than 7 seconds. Everyone else, like, everyone's in good position. They got this doubled up, covered. This is covered right here initially. And then, they start to get pressure. Bradley Chubb closing in on Josh Allen. He just escapes long enough. He throws this ball to Cook, who's just coming open now. You can't expect a linebacker to be in man-to-man for over 8 seconds. It's just ridiculous. So pressure's got to be created quicker, and then when it is created, you got to be able to, get Allen down or get in his face, force him to throw. But Allen is able to escape the pocket, give himself still a clear throwing lane. And even though this was a dumb decision for him to hold on to the ball this long in this situation, it ends up working out for them. So unfortunate for the defense there. They actually did a pretty good job in the secondary playing man-to-man. The play call was good, and it just didn't work out. First drive of the second half, it's 2nd and 1 situation. Dolphins' run defense played pretty well in this game again. Their run defense has been so good this season, which has been kind of a shock with how well they've played game after game. But like Zach Sealer, Christian Wilkins, just absolutely amazing players. If Sealer doesn't make this play with how quickly he sees the tackle he was lined up on the shade of, pulling, so he just shoots the gap, beats the pulling guard. The guy that's trying to block him down doesn't get to him, so just great play, getting in the backfield. You can see Wilkins on the backside too, how quickly he is able to beat this tackle based on his pre-snap positioning. I love how they align the defensive tackles, how they work versus the run. It's just absolutely beautiful game after game. If Sealer didn't make the play, Wilkins would have. And you get a 3-yard loss on 2nd and 1, which is absolutely huge because now it makes it a passing situation. Dolphins defense did a much better job staying in their rush lanes. Like, everything right here, the edges right here didn't give Josh Allen free reign to just escape the pocket. You can see that they're twisting the inside, forcing these lanes, and then everyone is in good man-to-man coverage, so he tries to just get the ball out quickly on the curl route. This is how you beat the Bills. You got to play man-to-man and then force Josh Allen to throw it quickly, and third down situations, make these tight window throws, and pretty much the only way you're going to stop him, X, in pretty good coverage here versus Gabe Davis. And surprised he didn't get called for holding, honestly, with how they've been calling this game, but that's really good coverage. And another thing they changed, and we'll see the impact of this, they had Javon Holland become the spy on Josh Allen. You'll see Holland make a play on this. Holland has just been super impressive how they've used him. He's lined up in almost like a 2-deep look pre-snap. Usually he'll drop down to be a robber, but now he's dropping down to be a spy on Josh Allen, and he makes an impactful play in that position later on. Another 3rd down and 17 situation, and they almost get another conversion. This time, they do play it a lot better because they are running cover 3, but this time, McKenzie just drops this ball. This is a great throw by Josh Allen. They still, they allowed Josh Allen to escape here, get this lane up, but they have Holland coming down to spy, and then this is cover 3, but they're running a match, so they're just matching on the outside. He's man everywhere he goes, and these two run vertical routes, so they're just matching up, and then everyone else, he's a deep third. He comes down, becomes this flat defender. So it's just a mix, basically a match coverage, just a mix of zone and man principles. And this is pretty good coverage. He tries to undercut it, and Josh Allen throws this ball like perfectly, and McKenzie's just not able to hang on. But, when you're playing a version of match now in these situations, it makes these throws harder because last time it was just pure zone, and these guys were just in wide open holes in the zone. This time, you match them once they come into your zone. You stay over the top. It makes it a much more difficult throw and catch. And then you have Holland as the spy who's going to, not allow Allen to escape. And they actually get the stop this time. This play, very similar to the first play I show of this film breakdown. They try to get the play action, quick glance to Diggs, but this time they played a lot more closely. Great job by X on the outside. This time they're running cover 1. He's showing that he might be, outside leverage pre-snap, but he stays tight to this, takes away this throw right here. And Kohu, now he comes back to the other read, tries to throw the corner route to Gabe Davis. He stays in great positioning the entire time. Kohu's been still just such a pleasant surprise, maintaining his leverage here, gets physical, good job anticipating, staying in perfect positioning. Now once he sees Davis turn and look for the ball, he turns and finds it, and then makes a play right at the catch point to get the pass deflection. Excellent play from Kohu. This is the excellent QB spy play from Holland. Look at where he's aligned here pre-snap. Come down, just reading Josh Allen. I mean, honestly, neck brace Javon Holland, because he wouldn't put a neck brace at half. He might be different, man. He's already a great player. Great coverage on the back end here too. I feel like the Dolphins defense started just like when they had a spy on him, they just really went hard off the edge here, like with Chubb or whether it was Phillips, making Allen sort of escape into this lane, and then Holland would just close quickly, takes a great angle. Great coverage on the back end. The coverage in man-to-man improved greatly. They just went away from the zone, which wasn't working. So I think Boyer made some good adjustments in this game. I understand why he was trying to run zone, because you go man-to-man. The Dolphins have struggled to with spies this year. Like Javon Holland has pretty much been the only successful spy. They went spy against Justin Fields, and he had multiple long runs. And Allen was still making some plays versus spies in this game just because he's such a talented player. But I do like the mid-game adjustments in this one from Boyer. Just showing this one to show that this should be intentional grounding. He throws it to his O-lineman. I mean, his running back, they try to set up a screen here. His running back is here, but that is 5+ yards away because this hits off his shin right here. If this is the Dolphins, I've seen this be called when our guy is 3 yards away from the ball. But yeah, they just bring pressure instantly. They get a nice little twist going on here. Chubb closes instantly on the screen. Also, Sealer getting the hit as well as the setup guy. They get on Allen so quickly. He forces him to throw this out on the screen. And if this is intentional grounding, that could have possibly been a game-changing play. 1st and 10 situation. This is one of the biggest plays in the game made by the defense, the Jalen Phillips strip sack. It is so hard to strip sack Josh Allen. Even when he's holding the ball out, if you don't hit it perfectly, like he has such strong hands to hold on to it. And this is what I love from the adjustments. Like 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, they were running a lot of zone early on in the first half. The second half, they came out, just made it man-to-man, made it a little bit harder for Allen to get the ball out quickly because they would press at the line of scrimmage. Even though some guys would come open, like Beasley's open here because they run a nice rub play at the bottom. Allen just sees it just a little bit too late because they're able to recover, come to this, and he just wants to throw something else. I guess probably waiting for Diggs to come open, and Phillips just gets a great hustle play. Phillips, even if he's not getting consistent pressure throughout the game, he's still making impactful plays. He actually does a pretty good job here. Like, he gets pretty wide, but he does a really nice job setting this up with his hands. He sees that right hand shoot. He, gets a nice little chop down there, wins around the edge. You can see that bend that he has, super flexible player, and then that closing speed. And love the just violent rip down, and then Wilkins gets the recovery. This is the downside to running like the cover 1 look the entire game. This time Holland's man-to-man on Dawson, and they just run Josh Allen on a QB draw. So this time, basically whoever the spy is, the linebacker, probably Duke Riley on this play, has a O-lineman coming out to block him, and it just gives Josh Allen all this room to run in space, and he's just a freak of nature athlete. So just unfortunate. This is why you aren't able to do this the entire game versus a team like the Bills, because they're going to come out, run plays like this. Even though it did work for a while, just the Bills offense is too talented to stop for, an entire half. And this is the touchdown to tie it before the 2-point conversion. The 2-point conversion ties this game. And they actually, Ingram wins pretty quickly and is going to get pressure on, but they have Justin Bethel on Dawson Knox, and Dawson Knox just peeks back here, and that gets Bethel to get slightly inside position, and then he just comes opened up. I mean, you're down to your 6th corner. Dolphins just have so many injuries. This is why I wasn't too hard on Boyer in this game. They just have so many injuries in the secondary. The linebackers are pretty much no help in coverage, and the Bills have a really good O-line, so it's hard for a good defensive front to get consistent pressure on Allen. And even when you do get pressure on him, he's so good at getting the ball out or creating with his legs. And then they get the touchdown here. They stopped him for the entire 3rd quarter. They didn't go up any points. You get down to the 4th, and then they also get the 2-point conversion, which was very, very unfortunate. Right here, this should have been the game-changing play to stop this team. You get this play on a 1st and 10, just watch Zach Sealer right here absolutely destroy the O-lineman with quickness and then destroy Singletary at the point of attack. This is how you take over a game. Sealer made some big plays in this one. That big run that I showed earlier. And here, just look at his alignment right here. Basically in a 3-tech, and he just sees the left guard, I believe that's Saffold, overset just enough to the inside. He just wins with quickness, rips underneath, destroys Singletary at the point of attack, and gets the sack. This should be a huge play, but then they allow them to convert in the next 2. It's just too many big plays given up out of, 2nd and 3rd and long situations. 2nd and 18, they go cover 3 again. Personally, I think they should have just stayed in man-to-man or gone like cover 3 match, but they just go cover 3, drop into a pure zone coverage, and they play like everyone else plays zone a lot better on this play except Noah Igbenogany. Igbenogany is just not good in zone. This is a 2nd and 18 situation. He just floats the inside. He gets kind of lazy because Gabe Davis doesn't even really run his route. And then once Allen is about to get sacked from behind, I believe that's Wilkins, Gabe Davis just comes back towards the ball late. Igbenogany, once Gabe Davis is slowing down his route, just turn into him and play this. Like, I don't even mind this call from Boyer because everything else is pretty much covered up. They're in a good situation, 2nd and 18. Igbenogany just gets kind of lazy, tries to stay over the top, but you just got to squeeze this, turn into him, but Gabe Davis comes open late. And obviously would like to see them get pressure on Josh Allen a little more quickly, but you don't really want to see him escape the pocket. Like, it looks like they're just kind of holding their rush lanes here. They don't really want Allen to escape, create a big play with his feet, and he just gets it out late because they're not covering deep down the field again on one of these situations. Then 2nd and 18 turns into 3rd and 3, which is way more manageable, more difficult to stop. They run man-to-man, and Xavier Howard is put just in an impossible position. They basically stack their guys here. Howard is outside leverage. They just run across with Diggs, and pretty much he has to go over the top of all these defenders, and then they run the mesh right here, and he has to go around this too. He just pretty much has no chance based on pre-snap alignment to make a play on this at all. So, I mean, I don't even blame X. The real problem was the play before, like the 2nd and 18. You put yourself in a 3rd and 3, which you go against the Bills offense, and they're going to convert that most of the time versus any defenses. Last play that I'm going to break down, they kind of just ran the ball, dink and dunk down the field for multiple plays before this. This is the final drive. This is the big pass interference call that basically ends the game because it puts them in manageable situations. This is a 3rd and 6 with how they line up. They have everyone in press here. So, I mean, this is a problem when you have everyone lined up like this, everyone on the even level. This is why there were so many pick plays and rub plays that opened up in this game when you have people aligned like this. But the Dolphins defense, they really want their corners in press just to mess with timings and things. And Kohu gets this call right here. Right here, I think they call holding on this play as well. I can see why they call the holding. He gets physical there, which is fine. And then he holds the right arm of McKenzie with his left right there. But right here, they call pass interference. He turns back into the receiver. The pass interference call is not good. Like, personally, I don't think it's pass interference. You could definitely call holding, which, gives them 5 yards, and it makes it, the game's not over yet because, he still has to kick it in the snow, and that's still, like a long 40-yard field goal, which is much more difficult than like a 20-yard field goal, which he ends up kicking. And they do get pressure here too. Like, I love the aggressiveness on the 3rd and 6. Bring the pressure. They haven't brought in this many guys the whole game. They've usually been just bringing 5. This time they bring more than that. They get pressure quickly. It forces Allen to just chuck it up, and they get beaten, by a penalty, which is unfortunate. Like, I understand why they would call holding, but a pass interference, I hate when they call, like, this is just super underthrown. McKenzie trying to come back towards it. Kohu turns into him, and then they call the PI as well, and that gets them, the ball down at like the 10-yard line, and that's the end of the game. So, the Dolphins were playing against, the Bills. Amazing offense. The Bills definitely played well enough to win, but they were also playing against the refs, and they were playing against the Bills fans because they were throwing snowballs the entire time. Absolutely ridiculous, but it is what it is. Great game this from both teams. This is a rivalry to watch from now on. Like, the Dolphins Bills played very good games, both games this season. Very close. Both games could have gone either way. So, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch. I think this game just proved to me that the Dolphins can really compete with anyone. Like, even after 2 bad games, they come out to Buffalo in the snow and compete and have a very good chance of winning. So I think, they win 2 of their next 3, and I think they're in playoffs. And I think they have a very good shot of that, especially 2 being in Miami, and the one that's not in Miami is against New England, and who they've been beating a lot recently. So I think they have a good shot of making playoffs. Hopefully that happens. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.